again, MMA fans. This is Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and I am joined by a man who has been at the forefront of the Bellator featherweight division for several years now. He's a former title challenger and now a participant in the promotion's Grand Prix, which starts September 7th at Bellator 226, where he will face highly touted featherweight prospect in Tywin Claxton. And that man is El Matador himself, Emmanuel Sanchez. Emmanuel, thanks for talking to me in the lead up to just about a week or so away from this big fight in the first round of the featherweight Grand Prix.
No problem. Thanks you for having me.
Now, before we get into the Claxton fight and the tournament itself, I want to go back to the Georgia Carhania fight. You know, he was a short notice replacement. Now, I talked to you before that fight, and of course, you know, no fighter is gonna show any concern about, you know, any before a fight. You know, but now we are past that fight. The concern I ask about is that you actually got a better opponent in the short notice. Usually, especially when a person's in the main event like yourself, and you get a short notice replacement, it's usually, you know, someone that's you know, was lower on the card or had to come in, you know, that wasn't maybe of that stature. You got George Carhanian from Grimshaw, so, you know, going into that, were you like, damn, this is a tougher matchup, or because of that, you fought him previously, there really wasn't any concern despite getting a tougher opponent on just a few days' notice?
No, there was no concern at all. It could have been whoever, and I still would have been happy with it. But I'm glad it was Georgie. He feels that he beat me last time, which I think is preposterous, and I think he's up. But this time I got to shut him out again, and it was a bittersweet feeling. You know, if we happen to meet each other again in this Grand Prix, I'll do it for a third time.
How important was it for you to bounce back, you know, get back to the winning ways after, you know, a difficult, real close, tough fight against Patricio for the title a few months back?
Obviously, very important. You know, I'm someone who not only, of course, wanted the title and everything that I've been working so hard for, but I always want to get my hand raised.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every time I don't, that feels very, very bad. That's heartbreaking. So I work my ass off because I want to hear my name as the victor in the end. And there's no better feeling than getting your hand raised. So, you know, that's all I look forward to. You know, the night of the fight is to do what I love to do and have fun. Love doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I get my hand raised, you know, and I know that all this sacrifice and training and weight cutting and, you know, the really early mornings and the really late nights, it's worth it.
For a lot of your career, you have been a pretty active fighter, yet in Bellator, it seems the closer a person gets to the top, more, you know, there becomes more inconsistency with the booking. And the Grand Prix, the two so far, the welterweight and the heavyweight, really haven't been any different than that, because it has some of the best people in the division fighting in it, logistics, all that stuff. You know, you told me in March you would be in the tournament, yet your fight hasn't been booked until now, September, so many months later. And the chance to fight again this year, you know, based on how everything's going to play out the next few weeks, you know, they're going to reshuffle the matches for the next round. It's going to be probably unlikely to fight again this year. Is that inconsistency bothersome for you? You know, does it get frustrating, maybe even on a financial level, probably only fighting twice this year?
The last time I only fought twice was 2016, and that did suck. And I actually, for the first time ever out of all 32 fights that I had, I suffered an injury you know, a week before the fight, and that's another person who's in this Grand Prix who I'd like to get that one back as well. But we'll see what happens, man. That's why this Grand Prix is so great. There's going to be no call-outs. There's no rankings. You know, that none of that shit matters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, winning matters. So, advancing in the tournament is what's all going to come down to. You know, that's what's so great about this. There's no who's most deserving, who's on this win streak, who's got more followers on Instagram and Facebook or whatever. That's crap, you know. That don't mean shit, and all that matters is winning and getting your hand raised. So it doesn't bother me that much. I'm you know, I've been used to fighting 4 or 5 times a year since I started fighting. You know, I started fighting when I was 18 years old. I had 4 fights before I turned 19. So I'm used to it. I love it. I love being active and I love fighting. And from what I heard through the wire, that's what Mr. Claxton wants as well too. So unfortunately, he's not going to get his wish. Because after September 7th, maybe he will once he's out of this Grand Prix, and they'll keep him. But, I know I'm going to stay active in this Grand Prix and go on and advance and become the undisputed featherweight world champion. But I'm just excited to just fight and be a part of this. And the likeliness of fights, yeah, it could be December, could be January, could be February. I don't know. We'll see. But right now, I'm just focused on Tywin Claxton on September 7th.
Speaking of Mr. Clarkson, were you surprised you were matched up with Clarkson? Not that he's not a talented fighter, just that, did you figure you were more likely, because of your status in the division, to maybe get another good, real respected, established fighter, say like a Pat Curran or a Daniel Strauss? Were you surprised you were matched up with someone as inexperienced as him?
No, not really. I mean, to me, it's still, I'm sure, flattering for him and flattering for me. I still feel like I'm the underdog, to be honest with you. I feel like everybody sometimes, I've gotten that question a lot. Who do you feel is the dark horse? Who do you feel is, I don't know, maybe not being talked about as much? And I'll be honest with you, I think it's me. I feel like a lot of these other guys, maybe they just had better showouts, or who knows what it is. I don't know who knows what it is, and I don't care. My job is to just go out there and get the job done. So out of 16, right, this is who's in this Grand Prix. They could have chosen anybody else. There's more fighters in the featherweight division, but they chose him. So he's one of the best. So I'm fighting one of the best. This gives me as much motivation as it would have been Pitbull, Turn, Strauss, any other rematches, or McKee, whoever, Archuleta, it wouldn't have mattered. This is one of the best. This is who they considered one of the best. They picked him to be in this Grand Prix. So I want to be the best and prove that I'm the best. So I got to take out the best.
You are as veteran as it gets in this division and have been one of the best fighters in this division for years, like I mentioned in the opening, because of that massive experience gap you have on him. And I know you feel you are the underdog here. People are still underlooking you, which is, it's crazy that that's kind of true in a way, because you are as talented as you are. But, experience gap, you're just hitting the prime of your career. Could it be said that Tywin Claxton is possibly way in over his head by facing you in this first round matchup?
That would be, speaking, I guess, kind of arrogant and kind of hard-headed. I mean, I know how great he is and how talented he is and what he brings to the table. So he's still a dangerous man, still a dangerous human being. So in no way, shape, or form have I been looking past him or thinking what's next and who's next, or is this an easy fight? There's no such thing as an easy fight, ever. And I felt that way since, like I said, my very first fight. I take every single fight serious, every fighter serious, and I devote my life, my health, my time, my everything to do whatever it takes to get my hand raised. Doesn't matter who it is, So that goes into the case of my last fight, like you mentioned, with Grimshaw Georgie. Yeah, it was some dude making his Bellator debut. And me coming off the title fight, a lot of people are saying, why you take this fight? Well, I just, I don't pick and choose opponents. That's just who they gave me. Unfortunate circumstance, he was pulled out, so I got something better. So that's great. Now we're going in this Grand Prix. Me, the last, 7 opponents pretty much that I've had in this Grand Prix right now. So it gives me great pleasure to know that fighting, like you said, a highly touted, young, strong fighter. And he's undefeated. And I remember what that feels like. And I can't wait to take that away from him.
Of course, the motivation is to win, the Grand Prix. It's a prestigious moment in any career, especially the field you got to go through, winning the money at the end. Is also the motivation not only to win this thing, but to get back to maybe Patricio if he makes it all the way to the end, or he faces you in the semis or quarters or finals. Is there part of you that wants to run that fight back and get another look at him because you were so close and to give him as tough a test he's ever gotten as a champion.
That's it's a great way you worded that question just now, because a lot of people do ask me who would I want next, or where do you want to be on the bracket next, or whatever. That's been a lot of for those questions as of late. That's been a lot of what I've been getting. But you worded that pretty good. Would it be great? Yeah, but I'm not just eyeing Pitbull. Perhaps he doesn't make it past the first round.
Yeah.
So, I wanted that Pitbull rematch, right away, and I didn't get it. But that was fine. My heart, my eyes, my soul, my mind is not on Pitbull. It's on the world title. So whoever has the world title is who I want to fight. And now I know I have to defeat 3 men to get to the final, to get to the world title, to become the undisputed featherweight world champion. There's, no denying that I'm the best featherweight in the world, pound for pound, and making history, the man who won the tournament. So in a perfect world, would it be great to get those rematches back with Daniel Weichel, Pat Curran, and then Patricio Pitbull? Yes, it would be. That'd be fantastic. But that's not all I'm eyeing right now, because there's so many great fighters in this Grand Prix, and there's so many exciting matchups. And you got Adam Borics, who could get past Curran. You have Archuleta, who could get past Patricio Pitbull. Who's another one up and come? Pedro Calvaro, who could get past Cecilia. Saul Rogers, who could get Weichel. So guys that I'm not going to say there's not as well known, but let's just say they don't have as many fights in Bellator as Daniel Weichel, as myself, Curran, as Strauss, as Pitbull. I'm not going to say we're the more accomplished guys or we're the better guys or the best guys. I'm just going to say we're guys with more fights in Bellator or more professional fights in general. So, because these are all great fighters. And like I said, 16. They could have picked anybody else, or they could have just made it 8, like how they did for welterweight or heavyweight, and say goodbye to the other half. You know what I mean? But they chose 16, and we're fighting our way in to go all the way, man. So that's what makes it even more exciting. And obviously they see a lot in these other fighters as well too. That's why they made 16, and that's why they invited them into this tournament. And it's going to be something truly epic.
Speaking of Pitbull, speaking of Archuleta, every round has good fights, interesting fights. But what's fun about this Grand Prix, like the welterweight one, is the champion's going to be in it. So everyone's going to look at the champion's fight. You got Pitbull, Archuleta coming up. You mentioned, he may not get past Archuleta. What do you think about that fight? Who are you picking for that? What are your thoughts on that? Can Patricio retain, or is Archuleta really the new thing in this division and may be the guy that knocks out the champion in the first round?
It's very possible, but right now, if someone were to ask me who I was to pick too, I would probably go with Patricio. His level of opposition obviously is leaps and bounds above Archuleta's, not taking anything away from him. Having a 20-fight win streak or something, and only 1 loss on his record. That's obviously something very impetuous and very remarkable as well too. So that's a fantastic record. That's a fantastic fighter. But Pitbull just became the lightweight champ as well too. He just stopped Michael Chandler in the first round, in a minute something maybe. I think even less than that. And Michael Chandler is not someone who's stopped easily, if stopped at all. Right? If stopped at all. And I was cage side for that, and that was pretty interesting to witness firsthand. So right now I believe Pitbull has some great momentum behind him. I know Archuleta does too. So that's what's going to make for an exciting, amazing fight. But if I had to pick, I feel like Patricio could come out on top from that.
Do you take pride in something like that? Like you mentioned, you at cage side for Chandler and Patricio. Do you take pride on several levels? And like, shit, that guy's the champ. I was close to beating him. I gave him a hell of a fight. 2, he's the champ in our division. I'm in one of the best divisions. The division has his champ. Does there, not all you guys are rooting for each other because you're each other's competition, but is there some kind of rooting interest in him winning and doing well just to bring pride to the division and prestige? Like, I'm a part of maybe the best division in Bellator.
Yeah, there is that pride, because as far as I know, no other fighter has sent Pitbull to the hospital after our fight. He was peeing blood, and he definitely didn't want a rematch. And John McCarthy could only give him one question after that, and after that, it was a struggle for him to want to accept a rematch. So definitely, he was not in a rush to fight me again. So I take a lot of pride in that, but also, it's still a very sour, shitty
Yeah.
feeling. I didn't get my hand raised, and I'm not world champion. And I know I can be, and I guess I could say it as this: God shut that door, got something better. So it didn't go my way in Israel. So now I have this opportunity to do something even better right here in this Grand Prix. And what an amazing opportunity it is. And I'm going to take advantage of every second of it. Each and every single one of these training camps leading up to this fight, the media, the interviews, the even the weight cutting, the everything that goes into, each and every single one of these fights now, it's going to be something that I'll remember for the rest of my life, and something that I can put those belts right here on my wall, right here in my basement, my own wall of fame right here, and make Bellator, make a Bellator Hall of Fame, and become part of that as well too. And I'm not taking anything away from the welterweights or the heavyweights, but they just had 3 fights to get to their finals, right? 8-man tournaments. Ours were 16, so we had 4, and this is going to be something truly epic that I want to accomplish. And my heart has been set on this since when they told me that, and I knew that all right, no matter what, I'd stay healthy, stay my mind strong, stay headstrong here, and just stay focused, and which I have been. There's I didn't even know who I was fighting until the end of July. They told me when to be ready for it. For either they said September 7th or September 28th. So be ready for either one of those. They said most likely the 28th. Well, look what happened. It happened to be the 7th. It happened to be Tywin Claxton. So I had no idea who was even going to be a part of this tournament. They said 16, and in my mind, I'm playing in the head. Well, okay, who could be in this? Who won't be in this? Will be in this? Whatever. Now we have our matchups made, and now we're here, man. A week away from the fight, and it's time to rock and roll, man. Time to kick off this Grand Prix with a bang and go out and take out Tywin Claxton.
Now I'm glad you brought up the field and the difference in the featherweight tourney from the welterweights and the heavyweights, because that's perfectly transition to the next question I have, because the winner of this tournament gets $1 million, similar to the welterweight Grand Prix. However, like you mentioned, it's not 8. It's 16 dudes in this, and 16 very good fighters. So I plan to ask every person I talk to in this Grand Prix this question. So, has the winner has to do double the work? No one will complain about $1 million, but shouldn't it really be $2 million you guys are getting for winning this thing?
Yeah, perhaps, but it could be. But I mean, I know a lot of these guys have other endorsements and stuff like that too, which helps them. And if not, more endorsements will be coming. We're not only with Scott Coker making this, but the deal with DAZN. You got Monster in the cage now. You got CBD, MD. So you got a couple other endorsements, and so many guys, who potentially could earn some deals off that too. So hopefully I can go out there, put on an amazing show, and someone wants to throw their name on my shorts, and then, have some extra cash in my pocket. But aside from that too, I still get my show and my win bonus for each and every one of these fights as a part of this deal that I have. And then obviously I will get paid to fight, but then also the $1 million cash prize on top of that too. But it's we get paid for each and every single fight, and there's millionaires who aren't world champions. I'll say that. I'll leave it like that. There's millionaires who aren't world champions. So I'm not just hunting to just be a millionaire. For me, it's being world champion. A lot of people put the emphasis on the $1 million cash prize, $1 million cash prize. What are you going to do with it? What would you do? What would you want to do? And this and that. I've been eyeing the belts. Knowing that when I was in Israel, man, and I put that thing on for the pictures, and I held that thing, and they told me how to stand, what to do, everything, doing the photo shoot with the belt, and all I envisioned was going home through airport security with that belt.
Yeah.
All I thought about was, I can't wait to have this thing around my waist the whole plane ride home, walk through security through that thing, and have that thing on my shoulder as I get home. And, you know, man, it didn't happen for me. And that really sucks, because that's, you know, all I was thinking. And that's all that my mind and my heart, my soul envisioned, was hearing and knew Bellator featherweight world champion. So what I'm really fighting for is to become world champion, man. That's the only reason I got into this sport, and that's what I want. And you know, when people want to talk about retirement and this and that, I don't feel like I can retire happy unless I get that strap, man. I gotta get those things, and I gotta bring them home. For me, that's really like what means most to me more than anything, is because uh, you know, at the end, when you do retire, or when your time is up, you know, or when you're dead and gone, you know, God rest your soul, they'll still never forget.
Yep.
Man, you know, the legend, you know, or one of the greatest of all time. So you never forget the champions, man. And I can still, to this day, name all these previous champions from Bellator, UFC, ONE FC, Risen, Pride, you know, from all the champs. You never forget who has the strap, man. So that's the stamp that I'm looking to have, is to become world champion.
Now, I'm glad you brought up endorsements. It wasn't a planned question, but I've heard so many different things on endorsements and what how they matter, and even that the market for endorsements has really gotten smaller over the years. Have you noticed anything, especially going into this this tournament that has a lot of eyeballs, a lot of attention on, a lot of spotlight? Have you gotten any more interest in terms of endorsements, or has it kind of been the same thing for you, and it's been a steady climb as you continue to rise into the division, become a star in the division?
It's kind of about the same. You know, I still have the best people in my corner with me. It takes a village to raise a fighter,
right.
And I'm very grateful for that. You know, a lot of people sometimes, I get it when it comes to the other endorsements, and people who want finances, right? They want money from them, but they use those finances to provide, you know, their training gear, or getting a nutritionist, or massages, or seeing their chiropractor, whatever it may be, right? Whatever they use the money for, right, to help them live their life of a prize fighter, right? But I already have that right here in my village of here in Milwaukee. You know, I own a personal cryotherapy spot. I have a combat corner who supplies all my training gear. Rufus Sport, to me, you know, not only my gym, my academy, where I also teach and work at, do private lessons, and, you know, teach the kids. I'm the head jiu-jitsu kids coach. But I also, you know, see them as, because that's what's been able to catapult me to where I'm at now. You know, being an ambassador for the Rufus Sport Mixed Martial Arts Academy, and all these other great people, you know, for unparalleled greatness. You know, my beautiful significant other started one of her own, and she does my personalized weight cutting, stretching, cupping, all the, you know, physical therapy that I would need to be able to go out there, train, compete, fight, and win. So I got everything I need under one roof. You know, as far as other endorsements, you know, like I don't know, a beer sponsor. I mean, I don't even drink beer, but if Bud Light wanted to come around or whatever, I'm like, yeah, sure, man, I'll take 10 G's and start drinking Bud Light, I guess. But if a bubblegum sponsor wanted to come around, offer me that, you know what I'm saying? Like anything, whatever. You know, I wouldn't turn it down. Of course, I'm sure nobody around me either would tell me to turn it down, unless it was like some kind of cigarette or something that I was, you know, not for. But it's not something that I've been hunting. I think too many guys, you know, not only on the regional circuit, put too much emphasis on that, but also sometimes in the big leagues too. You know, back when the UFC had it, and Bellator now too. A lot of guys, they just, you know, they spend more time on their social media trying to branch, market, endorse, and get sponsors and get more people on their shorts to get money than they do training. So guys, they might have, you know, 5 G's worth of stuff on their shorts from some construction company, this local guy, that guy, whatever. And God bless them that they made the money to sell tickets locally and make that amount of money to fight, but then they still lost. So they spend more time focusing on getting endorsements, you know, or local sponsors to help them out than they did actually training and winning their fights. So me, I've always been the type of person, win and dominate in your fights, and everything else will take care of itself. And that's why we're sitting here talking here right now today. Because if I would have focused more on, oh man, I need the coolest shorts, I need Hayabusa, I need this guy, I need that guy, I need this taco stand to hopefully sponsor me. I need this massage spots. It's sponsoring you. This guy to give me some money. Do you want to see your logo on my shorts? This is how much room I have left. Yeah, dude, I see. I've seen that in my own gym. There's some guys. Sometimes they spend more time trying to. This is what they use their hands for than they actually what they really use. You know what I mean? And it's for me. That's my advice to any of the younger guys too. Hey, man, focus on winning your fights and dominating. And I promise you, everything else will take care of itself.
Now, outside of yourself and Patricio, or even Juan Archuleta, who do you feel it might be like a fighter that everybody really needs to focus on, that they may really surprise? They're kind of a quote unquote dark horse. Or really, you mentioned Adam Borix earlier, how good he is. He could maybe get past Curran. Is there someone that you are looking at like, damn, that guy's pretty good? He might be a guy they're not paying attention to that can get to the finals, other than myself.
Other than myself, man, all of them. That's what's so awesome about these matchups. So even before this Grand Prix, right? In any single one of my interviews, we go back to like 3 years ago. And if someone were to ask me who was next, back when Bellator was fighting for the title against Pitbull, or Strauss and Pitbull were doing it again for the fourth time, or whatever, I've always had to be ready for anybody, anywhere, anytime. And I've been watching these guys for a long time. So young, in their young days, right? So these younger guys coming up, like Borix, and you said, like Sal Rogers, like Pedro Carvalho, right? Or these other guys. It's when I first got signed to Bellator, it was actually Curran versus Pitbull fighting for the title. That was actually before my first fight. That was one of the first fights that I already knew, and that's something that my coach Duke Rufus instilled in me. I'm not just thinking of my first fight on the undercard. I'm already thinking about the title fight. I'm already thinking about the champion. So I've had that in me since 2014, and now here we are 5 years later, and I've already fought all three of those guys. So now it's a possibility that I could fight them again, but not. I'm interested to see what goes down, man. Because a lot of people probably do think that, Curran could easily get past Borix, or that Weichel could easily get past Rogers, or that Caldwell could get past Corrales, or likewise. These fights, these matchups are insane, and I'm not the Mystic Matador, man. So I'm not like the Mystic Mac. But so I don't have these great predictions for these fights. I honestly just sit back and analyze, and I picture myself in there. I picture myself in there with them, and exactly how I felt when I watched Pitbull versus Chandler. So, and or when I'm at home sitting watching these fights, watching McKee fight, watching Archuleta fight, watching any of these guys fight. So I've been watching them and coming to see, and thankfully these guys motivated me. Every time I see them fight, I'm like, okay, wow, this guy just won. Okay, wow, this guy could be next. Or wow, you never know, I could get a phone call for this guy tomorrow, or this could be the next guy. So I'd go out and I'd go run. I'd go out and I'd go lift. I'd go out and I'd go do extra work, because I knew, I'm like, all right, this guy's celebrating his win. Congratulations to him. He could possibly be next, or the guy who lost to, either one. These all top guys. So, I was ready for any of these guys at any given moment. And now, it's I'll call it what it is. It's any man's game, and I'm excited to face them all. But first things first is go out there and make a statement against Tywin Claxton.
Now, I always like to end the interviews learning a little bit more about the fight. So when people watch this, maybe they'll find out something they didn't know, like away from fighting. Because, obviously it consumes your life with, whatever going on in your life outside. Your training, your personal teaching, you're doing all this stuff. But what do you like to do that has nothing to do with fighting? What do you like to do that the fans out there of El Matador will go, holy shit, I didn't know he liked that. I like that too. It's amazing. Like, what do you like? Are you a big Netflix guy? Are you into cooking? Are you into motorcycle riding? Are you into stamp collecting? What do you do and like to do that might surprise some people?
You named quite a few just now.
Really? Stamp collecting?
Yeah. No, not stamp. I knew it was going to be something like that, right? So I collect video games. That's kind of a thing. Nice. Even if I beat them like a... So I'm on Grand Theft Auto Vice City again. I'll play old school Super Nintendo games, The Lion King, Aladdin, Super
Nice.
Mario.
I loved Aladdin. That game was awesome.
Yeah, right. Spider-Man, all those classic X-Men, Nintendo 64 games. I have a retro, I guess, right? To me, that's, coming up with, those were the hottest games back then. Because I've never played. I think I tried Fortnite one time when a friend told
I
me about
haven't tried it either.
it, and I was like, I don't understand how you win at this game. I don't understand
Yeah.
what you do. And I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm not playing this. Stupid. My nephew tries to get me to play Minecraft with him. I don't even know. How do you play this, boy? I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know what to do. I'm like, how do you win?
Uh-huh.
Who's losing, etc. So, I like my classic games and stuff like that. Motorcycle riding. I got my Harley, so I love to ride, man. I got a Sportster 48, so that's something that I really love to do. All the things that give me adrenaline and freedom.
Mm-hmm.
The fun stuff, roller coasters, skydiving.
Really,
Wa-
skydiving. Hmm.
oh yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to do it this summer yet with my significant other, but we will after this fight. Or maybe before weekend. We'll see. But
Nice.
I'm adrenaline junkie, bro. So I love fighting, and I love everything that just makes me feel free. So. All the thing. Snorkeling is next too. Actually, that's going to be something. Going down with the sharks and the turtles. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing that. I still enjoy playing soccer on the side of my own.
Mm-hmm.
Just go out. People go out and shoot hoops. I just like to go out and dribble and, you know, try to put it in the net, even with no goalie.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, it's my childhood pastime kind of a deal, along with skateboarding. I love to skate too. I still have my board. There's a skate park not far from my house.
Nice.
A couple of them actually. And even with skate park or no skate park, I still see some areas. And I'm like, man, I want to skate that one day. Even though it says no skateboarding, because that takes me back to a childhood pastime.
Mm-hmm.
So, along with all those things, eating, honestly. To be honest with you, man. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I've never been close to being hospitalized with weight cuts. I don't suffer.
Yeah.
I'm not dying. It's just a mental thing. It's that thing where oh, you can't eat this, so it just makes you want it that much more, right? So it's like when you're a kid, oh, you can't do this, and you're like, damn it, that's all you want to do now. So for me, it's a mental, physical strength that I'm already used to for all these 11 years that I've been fighting. The Thanksgivings, the Christmases, the birthdays, the graduations, the everything. Oh, can you eat? Oh, wait, no, you can't. And all my family's eating good food, and there I am just eating my spinach, and I'm just like, now they know. Now they don't ask. Now, hey, no, the champ's got to eat his food.
Yeah.
And, now they don't ask. They know that's part of the business that comes along with my job and with my health, my livelihood. But yeah,